Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included. In the previous episode, we have taken care of our space program in order to be able to launch our first rocket in today's episode. One thing I want to take away right off the bat is a lot of people have told me that the exhaust of the engines are gonna overlap with whatever I have built down there and therefore also smelt everything. Now, I've done some testing and that is actually not the case. Let's check this centerpiece right here. We currently have 178 degrees in the bunker tiles, there is 45 degrees in the insulated tiles, and there is 44 degrees in the transit tube. So let's just say about 180 and 45 degrees for the rest. But everyone telling me the transit tubes are going to melt have been wrong, at least with the steam engine. Maybe with the petroleum engine it's going to be a different story and we'll have to do some rearrangements. But that is definitely a good thing to keep in mind if it is true. So what we would like to do right in the beginning is visit one of these carbon asteroids. Currently we have 8 modules on the rocket, 6 of them are research modules, which means we should be able to grab all the research that is available on the carbon asteroid. I'm gonna call this rocket Insulated Mark 1, and what we need next is a passenger. We haven't selected the destination, total thrust for 15,000 kilometers, and we need to only go 10,000 kilometers away. Good. Okay, let's freaking do this. So we're gonna assign Toby, our astronaut, to command this capsule. Now, one thing I haven't figured out is the gantry. I think that is gonna be a little bit of a problem. I need to power this one as well. At the moment, I don't have it powered, and therefore we won't be able to retract it. It's gonna get destroyed in the process. Here we go. Toby arrived in the capsule. Perfect. Okay. That means we can initiate the next steps. Now, I would like to retract the gantry, but apparently without power that's not gonna happen. But now that we have our passenger, we're gonna select our destination and try to launch the rocket. Yeah, there we go. Launch mission. Here we will actually also be able to see where it currently is, and there's gonna be a progress marker. It's gonna take about 3 cycles for Toby to come back. But there we go, here goes nothing. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Yay! Whee! I'm gonna pause here for just a second. We can see there is very hot steam. And if we check the same tile now, 188 degrees, and it's sinking again. The insulated tile below is 79, so that did go up about 20 or so degrees. And then the transit tube here is still 44 degrees. Not heated up a single degree. Same thing with the ladder, it's 39, and everything else is still the exact same temperature it was. Everything below the insulated layer has not been touched yet. Now, if I launch one steam rocket after another, I would imagine maybe at some point we can heat things up a little bit more, and of course also once we start using the other types of rockets. Now, as you can see, the gantry has been destroyed and it's gonna cost me 20 kilograms of steel. Of course, we don't want to fix that every time we launch a rocket. That would just be stupid. So I thought we are gonna take the wire here. Steel. It's probably gonna have to be steel. It's gonna cost me 1,200 watts to actually use the gantry, but, you know, only for the amount of time we are actually retracting it. So I think it's gonna be worth it. Launch our first space rocket into space. I'm taking that achievement. Okay, so now we should be able to retract that. Wow, that actually went really fast, so you don't need a lot of power. I thought it takes like 30 seconds, and for that amount of time you're using the power. What we could do to automate this is hook up the space scanner or another space scanner to our Insulated Mark 1, and then as soon as it comes back we can retract the gantry. But I don't think we're gonna go into mass production of rockets and just launch them one after another, so I wouldn't be able to do this myself. I'll have to observe it. Maybe you have to launch hundreds of rockets, I don't actually know. But yeah, what I know is that the only thing that heated up is the insulated tile a little bit, and then everything else is fine. Of course, we have to be exposed to space and not adjacent to the tile within an atmosphere. Another thing I noticed is I had to mop up a little bit of the liquid here. Of course, with my idea to let everything drop down, the oil itself that I used as a coolant for the auto sweeper and the conveyor loader was also heating up. Now, another thing I learned in between the episodes, and that is the most disappointing thing. If you have, for instance, some granite already laying here on the floor, let's say it's 170 degrees, then every additional item that's gonna drop in the same tile is gonna immediately take on the temperature of the previous item. So I could technically drop a item that is 1000 degrees hot and it's gonna go back to exactly 170.2 degrees that we currently have right here. Now this only accurately seems to apply to the same medium. So you have to drop some granite on here and then it's gonna combine and it's gonna be the same temperature, and therefore we are still losing tons and tons of heat. It's kind of unfortunate and can lead to many exploits. I mean, all we have to do technically is bring one regolith to, let's say, minus 100 degrees using whatever technique, and then we just let the other regolith drop on top of it and everything is gonna be minus 100 degrees. That's what you've told me in the comments. Unbelievable to me, but it does make a lot of sense. Otherwise, they would have to program different stacks for each difference in temperature, and therefore you cannot combine the items anymore. Look at this, we've already analyzed a lot of planets and, oh, actually we still have a long ways to go, so let's just keep on analyzing. You know, this new knowledge sucks a little bit because technically it means we have to cycle the items and then use a item shutoff in order to decide when it's time to move them out of the system, because at the moment I'm not using the full potential of the items. They're going through and then at a very hot temperature they are being dropped down all the way, joining the other items and therefore losing the entire heat in one go. Yeah, I'm really pumped about this one if you couldn't tell. Looking at Steaminate Mark 1, we are 46% in, so I think we just reached the asteroid there. Whew, I'm really excited. I mean, after that we are finally going to be capable of continuing our research. So we are going to be able to unlock the solid fuel combustion. Maybe not yet. There's actually also the solid cargo bay. So I guess we're going to need both of them actually. And then the next stage is going to be the petroleum engine. And we also get liquid fuel tanks and a solid oxidizer tank. Jeez. Liquid cargo tank, gas canister. Oh man, this is great. We're finally going to be able to get these new materials in the joint. I'm especially looking forward to the supercoolant. I have a lot of things in mind with the supercoolant. Looks like we have a meteor shower inbound, so all of that, hopefully my rocket is not going to return in that time. I wonder how they do it. What if a rocket happens to come back? Is the rocket going to wait or is it just going to bust through the bunker doors? Well, that was a mini shower, I have to admit, a really small shower. How is our rocket doing? I finally want to see, oh, 80%, okay, it comes back soon. Well, as we wait for the rocket, we could already think about the next step. Another thing that I would like to implement is, of course, a solar array. Now, I don't think we can have this below here. Well, actually, maybe we can. I mean, it would be great to already use the mechanisms we have for here. I mean, each of these bunker doors is like 500 kilograms of steel, very expensive. So technically, if we start with our solar panels somewhere here, oh wow, they are huge and they require only 200 glass. But I would imagine, for instance, we could start right here, though this building is probably gonna block our line of sight, isn't it? Yeah, I have to test it. Oh, our rocket returns. Okay. Also, I want to see this again. Yeah, this tile definitely heats up a lot, as you can see. The insulated tile is now 180 degrees and the transit tube still 44 degrees. Not a single degree hotter. But guys, that is not the most exciting part. The most exciting part is we have one robot arm, apparently, and a lot of data banks. This is absolutely amazing, and now I should be able to extend this gantry again and my guy can get out. Oh, they need to go on the loo. Okay, let's unassign Toby again, so he goes back, and then I guess once we filled up the steam rocket again, we are gonna go on the second mission. So all we have to do is reconnect this, and I can shut this off so I can let in some more steam. I just made this contraption here so I can let the rest of the steam get away without destroying my pipes over time. Absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with these results. So let's go ahead and... I mean, we really have to research both of these, right? And then maybe we have to figure out if at 20,000 kilometers we can still use the steam rocket, but I highly doubt it. So what I think we will have to do is just select the other asteroid. And we can already see here we have visited this one. Actually, let's check it out. Abyssalite and fullerene were the two additional materials. We can see we have researched everything, so we will not have to send any more research modules over there. Looks actually like we can have the solar panels wherever, they don't need to stand on the floor. And I might have to look up what the optimal placement is going to be for several of these panels. Converting sunlight, power 380, can I see like the efficiency? It doesn't really look like it's gonna tell me. I think what I have to do is maybe hook this up first. Though that would be wrong. I cannot hook it up to this part. Oh darn it, I would have to hook it up to my main line right here. So all we have to do now is figure out whether or not these two buildings are gonna get in our way, and if they don't, we can have the solar array at the bottom. On the other side, what we could also do is grab the telescope and bring that a couple of blocks down and then have our solar array here. Eventually we're probably gonna need multiple solar arrays, don't we? So I wonder, what if we had the telescope beneath the solar panels? Is the telescope going to be influenced by that, or are we going to be good? Those are all questions that kind of need answering right now. Alrighty, we are back. I did some testing, I did some research, and I decided this is the way we're gonna arrange the solar panels. So they kind of overlap each other, but only by 50%. And from the looks of it, I mean, this one here, for instance, is producing almost 300 watts. At another point it was at 350, almost 380. It depends a bit on the cycle. Of course the sun isn't as high, so depending on what time it is gonna produce more power. It seems as though the buildings don't really matter on the top, so let's see how far we can get with 5 solar panels. It's definitely gonna be a major help in future power struggles. In the meantime, I also filled up the steam rocket with another 750 kilograms, and I already figured out that the steam rocket can really only be used for the first tier here, so we're gonna have to rebuild the rocket or build another one in order to get to the next tier. But I guess that's the next step we have to think about. For now, let's just go ahead and start this new mission. There we go, our astronaut is on board. Let's go ahead and retract the gantry. Within the star map, we're gonna choose our rocket and our destination. Yeah, looks like we fulfilled all the conditions. Let's just go ahead and launch the freaking mission. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Yay, there she goes. I love it. Heat, heat, heat. Ooh, okay, so do we have... No, still 44 degrees. We can see though a lot of the heat is going into the insulated tiles. So maybe if we have 2 layers of insulated tiles, we will have no issues at all. And oh no, what happened there? How did this regolith even get there? Oh, this is bad. Actually, it already cooled down to 150 degrees. So that's how my transit tubes are gonna melt, much more likely. I guess at this point we will now also have to search for another project. Maybe we can start expanding this area a little bit. This isn't the most efficient yet, and we can also reshape it in a way so that the items cycle up to a certain temperature before they get dumped into the water and lose the rest of their heat. But it seems as though we cannot get enough heat in the joint at the moment. Maybe I'm going to... No, I'm gonna have to make bigger changes than just adding a bunch of mesh tiles. Actually, at the moment, I'm more interested in already preparing the petroleum rocket. Well, actually, we have to go for another rocket first. The solid fuel thruster we are researching at the moment. I wonder what we actually require to build that. Yeah, I might have to put in a little bit more research in order to figure that out before we just start building. But maybe we're gonna keep our steam rocket set up right here. Just keep that in place in case we want to collect a couple of materials from the asteroid. And then we could make another rocket silo in order to do the solid fuel thruster and eventually the petroleum one. But honestly, we can probably just take apart the steam setup completely in this case. You know what, it's not really going to hurt us to build a second rocket silo. Eventually we're gonna have multiple astronauts and we want to send multiple rockets at a time. I would imagine with the coming tiers, the missions will increasingly get longer. And of course I'm gonna need to craft a lot more steel in order to make this work, but there we go. This would be our second rocket silo, naturally with a whole bunch of bunker doors as well. Naturally, we also want to attach the power cables. Have already reached the capacity, however... These 1200 watts we can take away from the calculation, so theoretically we need 360 more watts to power these doors. Oh, hold on, actually we could also take away the telescope. Yeah, why not actually hook up the telescope to the main line, for instance, so we can take away all of this and save the 120 watts, and therefore we will be able to hook up... Oh, wait, is this iron? That's wrong. Can I use iron within the tiles? Did I use iron somewhere else? Oh, that's intriguing. I used iron within the tiles and then steel on the bunker doors. I'm sure I've had my reasons for that, so we are just gonna keep doing that pattern. So iron automation wire and then steel for the rest. So all we would need here is a heavy conductive joint plate, and of course I cannot put it right there. Should I move the telescope by 1 block? Yeah, I think that would make sense. Right now it's a little bit to the right. If we put it 1 block to the left, all my problems are gonna be solved. And now I can also place my conductive joint plate. Great! I'm really happy with our setup currently, I have to say. Oh guys, that's gonna take me a really long time. I think I need to craft a lot more steel at this point. Do we have the materials? Yeah, I have plenty of materials at least. So it's just gonna take me a bunch of time. And in that time we can get most of this stuff built. Great. Yay, research completed. Solid fuel thruster. We need only 200 kilograms of steel. However, it burns refined iron and oxalite. Not so sure about that. Sounds complicated. I guess we're gonna have to explore our possibilities now. That freaked me really out. We have -1 population because I sent one of my dupes to another asteroid. I thought we lost one there for a minute. Okay, I see. This is actually really taking away half of the space, so I get it. What you would want to do is place this exactly 1 block to the left here, so it's in the center of the solar panel. And this way we will get a little more power in contrast to placing them next to each other. Because they have an odd number, it's 7, and the centerpiece doesn't do anything. But if we block those 3 pieces, then we just lost half of the power. Interesting. In this case, I might just place 3 next to each other, and then once we have the space, we're gonna expand that into another direction. So we're gonna have another one right there, just 3 next to each other. I mean, it's still benefiting us with additional power. Oh, there we go. The rocket is returning. Magnificent. Ew, check this out. We got a small obelisk and a whole bunch of research modules again. So we're gonna let that drop all on the floor. Great. There it is. Okay, let's expand the gantry. Toby needs to get out of here. I'm sure he needs to use the toilet. Actually, we have a broken pipe here, and that is because I left one packet of steam inside the pipe. So nothing really went wrong there. It's just an oversight. Okay, so that means we basically got all of the research from everything. It depends. Do we want to collect one? Oh, niobium. So my guess would be if we send out a cargo rocket, that's the materials we will be getting in this percentage. So the cargo bay is going to be 100% and 3% of that is going to be niobium. I mean, as long as we are still building the other side and have a lot of steam in here, why not just use it? So I guess with the steam rocket here, we are done with the research modules. So I'm going to take all of them apart. Hopefully the scaffolding is going to stay intact so we can add the cargo modules instead. Did I actually already research that? No, we're still on it. Oh, well, that's a little bit of a pity. Where the heck is Otto? You should be researching, man. Ah, there we go. Lazy bastard. Get to work. Oh my god. I just adore the animations. Everything is so cute and fancy in this game. It's just clay entertainment, man. The same thing with Don't Starve. I love this game in terms of animation. And also other terms, of course. Okay, scaffolding doesn't stay in place, but the command capsule doesn't break down or anything like that. Good enough for me. Let's go ahead and actually bring this down a little bit. I'm gonna set this to 720 kilograms of steam, so we don't waste anything in this case. And then we are just gonna reconnect that and I guess start the pump up again. We still have a temperature of 122 degrees, so we should be fine. I wonder if we should take on another duplicant. We're gonna need at least one more astronaut. Oh, actually I want the arbor acorn. Yeah, we don't have a lot of those. And I would like to do some stuff with trees as well, so another seed is good. But maybe the next time I'm gonna take on another duplicant and send them through the training. Yay, cargo bay has been researched. Let's actually already research the next thing. We can do a tiny little bit of it. And we can definitely knock out the blue and purple research. What is more important, gas and liquid tank or the petroleum engine? I think we want to go for petroleum engine right away because, well, I guess that's a resource at the moment we have enough of since we are producing enough steam power. We could definitely make use of some of the petroleum. I mean, actually, it's sometimes a little bit of a struggle. I don't always have these 2 liquid reservoirs completely full, but at the moment we are doing incredibly well. And that is of course mostly thanks to the steam power. Now that's a thing I really dislike about the game. I cannot play stuff when I don't have the resources for it. Even with the mod that I have installed, built without resources. It's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, it's gonna require 1,000 kilograms of steel, guys, per module. Okay, I guess I'm gonna take a little recording break at this point, and when we see us the next time, hopefully I have made some progression here. Alright guys, we are back and we made substantial progress. I mean, this takes a really long time to get the steel together. However, I took care of another project in the meantime. Once again, I revised my power system. I was just running out of lava too quickly, and because of the reason I mentioned before that the resources immediately lose their heat when you combine them, I wanted to make this more efficient and be more maintenance free, lasting for a couple of hundred cycles. So I started to push the lava down and take as much of the terrain apart as possible so that I can get one continuous lava layer. The reason I wanted to do that is because I observed this tile right here, and this has barely lost any heat. At the same time, we were really struggling keeping up with the heat, and I had to do a lot of maintenance, I had to rebuild a lot of stuff, so I decided we are gonna do the same thing we are doing right here, but on a much bigger scale. Pushing down the lava was actually pretty easy since I can build diagonally. However, I am gonna run into a couple of issues right here. I would like to remove this layer, maybe. So that's definitely another project that I'm gonna do in the background. I'm probably not gonna show you too much of it because it's essentially gonna be this design, except we are gonna cool down the steam turbines using liquid instead of the hydrogen. We're still gonna use the steel doors, but they're gonna be on this level, taking the heat up there. Oh, I just noticed I might have to put them one more block up because the magma is already in this tile. Yeah, otherwise we're always gonna transfer the heat. Oh no, I need to save that tungsten. So I guess I'm gonna update you on the progress here in the next episode as well. But my main goal is to finish that up and then to get a rocket together in order to collect our first materials, using up the last of our steel. And then hopefully we can go for the petroleum stuff and maybe the solid rocket fuel. We'll see how that turns out. But with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.